Welcome to this how-to class, with Favro. I am Patrick Palm, CEO and one of the founders of Favro, and with me I got John Leslie, who's VP of our expert team, the team that basically you have full access to when you're being a Favro customer, that can hands-on help you with setting things up in terms of workflows, giving advice, troubleshoot whatever you need help with. So make sure you take advantage of this team. And today we are incredibly excited to show you the newly released templates gallery capability in Favro. And I'm just going to spend very little time explaining why we thought this was so important. And most of the time here, John will be showing you practical examples of how this is used. But let's just take a quick step back to why we think that this is something that will excite your teams and your leaders. Favor, as you know, is designed for helping organizations to be a bit more flat, have teams that can be more autonomous and that can align towards company goals through transparency, through clear objectives, rather than centralized command and control, which is what more old-fashioned organizations use to have steer organizations, but also more, let's say, old-fashioned tools use to do that. Favor is designed very differently. It's all about that kind of team autonomy, and I think one good example that you've seen before is how automations works in Favro, where this is not a centralized function with an IT department. Teams can set up automations themselves for making their workflows more automated. Saving a bunch of time and effort, and simply have things running in a more smooth way. Now with the templates gallery, what we do is that we have collected a lot of best practices that we have learned from interacting with our customers for a long time, and also way back before that, when we were doing other things within enterprise software, game development, SaaS. So it's more than the collective knowledge of from Favor's lifetime, put into these templates that you can simply kind of click and use. It goes much further back. But what we also have in this functionality is the ability to edit these templates and save them and basically create your own library. So what this means is that in your organization, you can step by step, you can have it based upon our templates, but you can also create your own from scratch. You can start building up this kind of library of templates that you can share within the organization. You can also set rules around that John would show. And in this way, you can foster knowledge sharing within the organization. And what's really cool about this is that, it allows for, creating that kind of, let's say, institutional knowledge within your organization without, killing the team autonomy. You still have that. So, for example, if you are someone in a product management office function or something similar, you will be more, let's say, the curator of this library, and making sure that your organization, step by step, learn from each other and become better at how to do things, instead of what happens in more traditional organizations where, things like this becomes a very, let's say, centralized function, and it kills a lot of creativity and motivation and autonomy in the teams. So with that said, we're super excited having this now rolled out to all of you, and with examples that you will see now from John, hopefully that will help you a little bit get a good start in using this. Over to you, John.
All right, thanks, Patrick. I'm going to begin by showing you the templates gallery, and as Patrick said, this is a great place to start, especially if you're new to the tool. Even if you're not, there's a lot of collected knowledge available essentially for free right in these templates. If you're looking for user story mapping or creating a program board, which I'm going to show you, it's literally just plug and play. Press a button, use a template, and it's there for you to use. Now, using the template editor, you can take these templates, right, that we've provided and make them your own. You're obviously going to want to customize them, custom fit them to your teams, so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you how to do that too. And I'm going to show you how to do that on 3 different levels. So we have templates at the collection level, right? So it's a collection of multiple boards, maybe backlogs, roadmaps, everything that a team needs to essentially do their job on a day-to-day basis and collaborate with one another. Then I'm also going to show you this on just the board level. So maybe saving just a simple Scrumban board to be used across multiple teams. And as new teams are added to maybe a project or a product or a game, it makes it easy to keep those teams in sync and operating on the same cadence and operating with the same automations in place even on that board. And then I'm going to finally show you how to stay in sync and aligned across teams and teams and teams at the card level, because there's also card level templates which can be edited to be made your own. Staying in sync with things like making sure everybody on a single product, even across multiple teams, has the same definition of done maybe and the same definition of ready. So let me jump into the tool and show you how this works. Okay, so first of all, the template gallery can be accessed simply here by clicking plus and going to template gallery. If it's also available on our website. So if you're not even in Favro and you go to templates directly off of the favro.com webpage, you can access this same exact template gallery. But if I click plus here and go to template gallery, it brings up the brand new collection of over 60 templates that we've created for you. And those are organized very simply by software as a service, specific templates, game development templates, and agile enterprise templates. Now, also over here, you can see that you have the ability to, as you find a template that you like or templates that you've created and you want to make sure that you always have access to, and also ones that you want to share with others in the organization and make sure that they are aware of. You have the ability to star them. These are specific to you, and also pin them across essentially the entire organization. Now, here are all of your saved templates, the ones that you've created yourself or have been shared to you. And these are the ones that we've created for you. And again, they're broken down by software as a service, SaaS, games, and enterprise. So for example, if I drill into games, you can see we have team and function templates. We have dashboard and portfolio specific templates. And we also have specific production technique templates. So we've tried to categorize this as simply as possible to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Now I'm going to take a look at this particular template here, program board, and start with this as an example. So a program board is excellent for teams of teams planning. So if you have multiple teams working on a single program, working on a single product, single game, you want to make sure that those teams are in sync. You also want to make sure that those teams have as few dependencies moving from iteration to iteration, from sprint to sprint, from whatever time box you're trying to maintain as a cadence as possible. And a program board really helps you do that. It helps you visualize into the future. What is each team going to be working on, and are there any dependencies? So say I wanted to use this and make this my own, right? First of all, there's a description here of what each and every template is. There's also a video of exactly how to use each one of the templates. So say I do want to use this template, simply click this, give it your own name. I'll call this Teams of Teams Collection. And here, as you can see, right, we have teams broken down by swim lanes like this, all being fed maybe by the same program or product backlog. And so as cards come in like this from the backlog for a specific team, you're able to see out into the future, are there any dependencies, as you can see here, between maybe this particular user story or feature is dependent on this. So this maybe has to be done in an earlier iteration by a team who's responsible for it. And then if that's the case, then maybe I can simply delete that dependency. But then maybe I identify a new one. It's as simple as saying, I have a before dependency here across these two teams. And then maybe you just rejigger this, right? So you're able to remove that dependency as well. So that's kind of the goal of a program board. Now say, obviously I want to make this my own, so I'm going to maybe save this as my own template. So what I want to do is I want to take this custom template that we provided for you, right? And you're going to save it as your own. So to do that, you just go here to the collection menu, say save as collection template, and I'll call it teams of teams template. And create that template. It takes just a second to save that. And then you have the ability to edit that template. And this is where we're going to make it our own, right? So you can click this, edit template. You can also go here from the main menu to template editor to also access it. Now once I'm in the template editor is broken down by card templates, which I'll cover in a few minutes, board templates, and collection templates. So if I scroll down, I should see the one that I just saved. This teams of teams template. And again, we're probably going to want to, customize this specific to us. So maybe changing the team names. Something like this. Maybe adding an additional team that works on out of this particular product backlog. Maybe something like this. Moving that team swim lane up to where it belongs on this program board. And maybe we look 6 iterations of sprints ahead. So we'll add an iteration 6 like this. Now this could be used by multiple programs, by multiple product teams, using this custom template that you're now creating and providing. So we'll take this once we have it configured exactly the way we want it, right? Including not just columns and swim lanes, but also maybe building in specific views or specific automations, again, unique to your team or how your organization wants to work. Again, saving those best practices essentially. So as I'm doing this, it's actually automatically saving this to the template. But we have further options too. So maybe I want to click on this and change the background to pretty this up like this. You also have the ability to provide some settings here to give more context to what this template is. So you're again, as Patrick said, you're curating this library of custom templates for your organization and for your teams. So give them some context, right? So maybe a description. Something like this. You can even provide a custom thumbnail, which I've already saved one. And you even have the ability to link this to a YouTube video, right? So maybe you've uploaded, like we've done, some sort of description of how this template should be used and the purpose of it, and paste in that link like this. Now, once you have that saved, and if I go back to if you go back to your organization's template gallery to saved templates specific to your organization, you'll see that teams of teams template. You'll see that those changes have been made, alpha team, team beta, adding that additional iteration before you actually even use the template here in this template preview, right? And you also see the description that you entered about this template, and you also have that linked YouTube video describing what the purpose is and how to use it. So pretty cool. I get right. This is again building that unique collection, that library of templates to share these best practices and make sure that your teams and teams of teams stay aligned in your organization. And then you might want to pin this, right? So pin this so that the entire organization will have access to this and also see it. Also, if I go back here and edit it, right? So continuous improvement, maybe you're constantly changing these things, updating, making them better. I also want to call out the sharing options, right? So you want to be probably pretty specific on who you're going to share these to. So you can share these out to specific users or groups and specifically say, so maybe I want to share this out to a particular team. This feature Scrum team and maybe some individuals like this. And then you want to say, what can they do with this template? Maybe they're their owner, so they actually are another owner of the template. They can do whatever they want, including delete it. So be careful with that one. And then maybe, can they edit it, right? Or can they simply just use it? And then click add. Now these are the permissions for the entire organization. Right? What can they do as an entire organization? These are specific to these individuals and groups. And as you can see here, I'm also the admin and the owner of this template, the person who created it. So those are the sharing settings. And that's basically it, right? Now, I also want to show you quickly the ability not just to create and edit a collection template, but also maybe just the board. And so what's the kind of an example of how that's useful? So maybe I have a sprint board or a Scrumban board, and I have it set up exactly the way that our team wants to use it. And we'd recommend that other teams working on maybe the same game or the title or product uses the same type of flow or the same type of board. So here, what I can do is I can just save the board itself, right? But before I do that, maybe I want to build in even a cadence, which can be used across teams of teams into the board. So to do that, maybe I'd set an automation on the board before I save it as a template, saying every time period, maybe I want to build in maybe a sprint review into the board. So saying on every second Friday at 9 a.m., right, we want all of our teams using the same board to do a teams of teams sprint review. So I'd come in here, every 2 weeks on Friday at 9 a.m., create a card, and then I have a template for a sprint review. So this is using the card templates. Save this. And now when I save this board as a template, can even do the sharing settings here. I've actually now, assuming that the other teams are actually going to use this board, maybe from sprint to sprint or a continuous flow kind of Scrumban type of way, I've also built in through those automations, maybe making sure everybody's on the same cadence. Maybe, same sprint reviews, same sprint planning, same sprint retrospectives. So that's another way to keep the teams in sync. And if anybody wanted to edit that, it would be the same thing. You go to the template editor and make changes to that existing template that you just saved. Now I can do the same thing at the card level, which is the last thing that I want to show you. So if I go to cards here, for example, another kind of good point to call out is that when you're using the template editor, you're most likely, you as the curator, are going to see that maybe you have duplicate templates like we have here. You can see we have 3 different user story templates. And this is the one that's actually the good one. So through the template editor, you can also come in and clean things up and say, all right, this one's a duplicate. That's not the one we want people to use. This one's also a duplicate. Let's delete that one too. Now, for this user story template, right? So we want to make sure that all of the teams working on a single product out of a single product backlog essentially have the same user story cards or the same format for their user story cards. So I could do this at the card level with a card level template like this. Maybe setting kind of what the syntax is for the user story. What is our shared definition of ready across all of the teams that are working on this single product? So this is something that should be the same for all teams. Now, acceptance criteria should be unique per user story. So maybe we want to just blank this out and leave a space for it like this. But the definition of done should also be the same for each team across teams of teams working on the same product backlog. And maybe the 3 C's, the card, the conversation, the confirmation, an area for tasks, and an area for found bugs. So when we've made these changes, they're automatically saved. We can set those sharing settings the same way we can with the board and collection templates, and maybe start it, and you're good to go. You have this shared user story template that can be used by all of the teams. Now, to further enforce this and kind of make sure that all of the teams are using this same template, what you're going to want to do is for that maybe shared product backlog, tie it to that product backlog, that card template. So anytime a new user story or card is added to this product backlog, right, it will automatically use that template. To do that, I just click on the board menu, say more, set card template, and select that user story template. Now, anytime a new card is added, it will pick up that edited template that we just, card level template that we just created. So there you have it, right? Collection templates from maybe starting from our new template gallery, how to edit those, board templates, and the card level templates. And now I'll pass it back to Patrick.
Thank you so much, John. This was very clear. I have a question. When it comes to automations, you can have automations part of of a template, right? And just like top of your mind, what's your kind of like favorite ones that you would use and recommend people to have, like, automations being part of a template?
So I think one of the primary ones that you're going to want to have is creating that same cadence across teams of teams, right? So making sure you have automations built into the boards to automatically create those events, those shared events across the teams of teams. Another really powerful one, right, is to make sure that when something maybe gets to a review stage, that no matter what team is using the template, that the person responsible for the review, maybe a product owner, maybe a creative director, whatever the case may be, is always going to be notified by building in a kind of a notification, or maybe even adding that card to that reviewer's specific board. That's another powerful one. And another really good one is, say you're again in that teams of teams situation, which is super common, is to build in automations that actually roll up maybe the progress at the team level, maybe to the program level, right? So maybe having it so it no matter what happens at the team level, at the user story level, that automatically rolls up. And when all those user stories that are maybe broken down from an epic are done, it can automatically update and change the status of the epic. So that's another very kind of powerful use of the automations that can be built into the templates.
I mean, I can see a very powerful application of this. I mean, we have, customers that are, enterprises that want to be more agile. We got SaaS companies, but we also have like a lot of, game developers and game publishers. And I can totally see how you could have this, this kind of like, roll up on more of a publishing level. Then on a development level, you will have templates for, how you simply set up an external partner. It could be for external development. It can be for marketing. And and then internally, you can be, having these templates, including some automation set up, to make, live ops work in a really good way, and, making product and ops and marketing just being like super in sync, on a maybe not even a weekly basis, but daily basis, and getting these kind of best practices documented, and just one, click away, is like super powerful, when you have that in, in the template gallery library. So yeah, this is super cool.
Yeah, that's right. And the tools are there for you to take this and make it your own. And really, as you say, the sky's the limit.
Cool. Are there any questions from any of the ones who attended live?
No questions here.
All right, super. Well, John, thank you so much, and I'll see you at GDC.
See ya next week.
All right, great.
Bye,
All right,
everybody.
thank you.